What I want to go into is what does it take to collaborate? So like this is the power of collaboration. You want to create business, you want to move your life forward. You need to be around the right people. You need to connect with them in a deeper way. You need to be able to collaborate with them. But how do we start? Like you go into a networking session, we're all taught, go in there, share your strengths and superpowers and find out what their strengths and superpowers are and figure out who is going to move you forward. None of that shit works for human beings. As a human being, the basic foundation of everything starts with trust, with safety. That's why many of the people here are open to share, because you feel safe psychologically, you feel like you can trust the people here. So we share more and more and more. That we've all committed to supporting each other, learning from each other. So I want to share a few points. So before you get on a call, what can be your intention? What do you need to focus on for you to not only create a good relationship as you move forward, but build those long-term relationships that are essential for your growth? And I'm not sharing concepts here. These are the things I live by every day. And if you've collaborated with me, if you've been a client for long, you will know that because I've collaborated with you at some level. I want to go to the first one of these. Before I get on a call with people, first value that I have is curiosity and openness. And I'll qualify why that is. It's incredibly important. And the reason why it's important is because of a technical reason, how our mind works. So our mind creates labels. Labels translate to judgments. And we create positive labels and negative labels and everything in between. And the reason our mind does that is that's the way the mind understands the world. For example, if you can put somebody in a category like, so you look at me, this person is Middle Eastern. That's one easier step towards understanding how my behavior might be. That's not necessarily a negative thing. That's just the way our mind works. This guy's got a beard. But then you can see how it starts to break down. It starts to break down because as you go deeper and deeper into these labels, you find out you just boxed me into this category. A Middle Eastern guy with a beard, and if he says something about bombing, get out of there. This is a joke, by the way, if somebody's hearing this. And in case I get the door gets knocked down downstairs. Or let's take another label. Let's take a positive label, quote unquote positive label. This person is wearing a suit. He looks like he's taking care of himself. He's in a good shape, or she's in a good shape. This person might be successful, must be successful. We put them in a success category. And we assume that this person is successful. So we base a conversation on that. But how many people have come across people who look like they're successful, but when you start to go deeper, you're like, I need to get the hell out of here. It's a facade we all created. Or let's take a few other labels that could be very, what do I say, that could touch on our nerves a little bit. Let's take a label of Democrat versus Republicans. All you have to do is put somebody in a category of Democrats, and then you can completely know exactly what they're thinking. You know what their values are. To some degree, that's true. But what are we trying to do when we connect with people? We're trying to understand the person, not the group. And this is what I want to come across. And unless, and this is what I've learned in my life, that unless you can put a pause on those labels, you will not be able to connect with the human being that you're going to build a relationship with. I'm going to repeat that again. Unless you can connect with the human being, unless you're curious to find out who this person is behind their labels, roles, responsibilities, you can't build a relationship. It'll be a surface relationship. And that only takes you so far. Right now, we're reading a book in our book club, 0 to 1, and Peter Thiel, who was partners with Elon Musk, one of the chapters, he talks about it. He's like, well, how do you think the people he was talking about foundations, how important it is in business, in startups. like, why do you think people like Elon Musk and I forget the other partner names, one who created LinkedIn, the other one created that FBI investigation tool, which was Peter Thiel. How did they become so successful? How did they make PayPal so successful? He's like, well, and he put it in his words, he's like, we were all nerds. He's like, we connected with each other at so many levels. We had conversations, we had fun. It was more than work for us. They didn't separate business and personal relationship. So they wanted to know people. He wanted to understand that they could connect with his team at a deeper level. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this curiosity for those who are new. We're working through a framework, and then we're going to go into the networking piece. Great to see you, Meyer and Rehan. So we're talking about curiosity. The first framework is curiosity and openness. Before we get on a call, we need to put a pause, or in a networking event or anything, put a pause on our labels. You can observe them, you can see them. We all have labels, but trying to understand the human being behind the label, behind their role as a president, as a millionaire, or as a parent, or as a business owner, or whatever that label might be, or a Democrat or a Republican, it doesn't matter, or from this culture or that culture. Understanding the human being becomes very important if you want to build the relationship. And the reason why it's important is because that's the only place we can connect beyond any other disagreements we can have. No matter where you come from in the world, what culture you come from, the one thing that's common among us is a few things. One is human needs are all the same across the board. Human needs don't differ. Every human being across the board, everywhere in the world, and then the Aboriginal cultures to modern civilized, quote unquote, civilized cultures, they all have a need to be heard. Individuals, to be understood, to be supported, to be loved, to be cheered on, to be helped. Like, these are human needs. It doesn't matter where you come from. And then we all have the same emotions: fear, frustration, anxiety, excitement, connection, love. And understanding that if we can come to that common ground, we can connect with a lot of people, regardless of what part of the world, what the hell they're doing or not doing, they come from. That's your basic foundation. So being curious to understand the human being behind their roles and labels and whatever else might be in your mind. The next one